All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Welcome to our developer hours. Today it's about building WordPress themes. We create block theme plugin. And I'm so happy that Tammie Lister is with us today to train us and show us all the magic that you can do with it. Hi, Tammie. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So I'll have a I want to share our notes. I hope I can do this with, so it's the first developer hours or event pretty much that after vacation. So yeah, what do I do with this computer thing? It's really hard. So this is the document about the resources we shared. Not all of them will be shared also in the links, but I have a few announcements before we get started with Tammie. If you haven't seen, there was a hallway hangout about what's next with Gutenberg. And I share that in the chat window. And there were some great demos on 7 to 10 features that are slated for 6.7 and maybe beyond. So that's definitely a good thing for you to check out. There was a What's New for Developers published on August 10th. So that's also something to check out. And then fitting to our theme today is introducing the 2025 theme. The team is now complete to, oops, did I do? To work on it. So the designs are kind of done, and now there's a team, and the team is doing in core themes channel. If you want to participate in the core themes channel, Carolina Niemark, who is one of the lead developers, holds weekly meetings, 30 minutes. Just check them out if you want to participate. So that's, and then the last but not least announcement is the upcoming developer hour, September 11, is taking a first look at the template registration API that is slated for WordPress 6.7. The PR has been merged and will be released with Gutenberg 19.1, or the first version of the API. And there will also be a developer blog post about that fairly after the release, maybe this week or definitely next week. And if you subscribe to the developer blog, then you won't miss it. So here is the subscription link for the developer blog. And that's for now all the announcements that I have for you. Did I miss anything, Nick or Tammie, that you want to add to it? Nope. Okay. So now, Tammie, are you ready? First,
Yeah.
tell everybody what you're doing now, and then just head into your presentation. And I'll watch the chat for questions that come up. And when there is a good time in your presentation, just stop and ask me if there are questions, and then we'll let you know and read them to you, so you don't have to worry about those.
Thank you so much. So I'm just going to share my screen as well and see if that works a second. Try and share my desktop. Can you see my desktop? Just checking that everyone can see my desktop. Yay! So what I currently do is I work on helping people with products and helping people navigate WordPress. I've also just finished paid sponsorship, which I've been focusing on really how can themes be working from the default themes as well. And now what I'm really looking to do is how can I take all my knowledge and share it a little bit more. So that's kind of what I'm exploring at the moment. But today I really want to focus specifically on the create block theme plugin. I don't know if many people have used this plugin, but for me, this plugin is essential. I spend a lot of time creating themes. I either spend time creating themes from scratch, or I spend time creating make it like that, which is themes, which is basically someone has a site and then they say, make that site like that, or make that classic theme like that, but in a block theme. So these will be also linked. So the create block theme, say that 4 times, plugin is available in this link. But before I kind of dive in, and this is going to be very interactive and very kind of using it, because that's the point of this plugin, is really to use it. I want to just describe the way that I see it is underscores plus. I don't know who here has used underscores, but if you have used underscores, then underscores has a real strong place in my heart. What this plugin or theme plugin does is it can have your underscores base, but it can do so much more. That's like the plus bit. You can create a new theme based on the active theme. You can create this blank theme base or your underscore base. And it's also a block theme base, which is really useful if you don't know themes. So you can start to kind of understand those block themes as well. So it's also a learning opportunity and a tool that way as well. You also can create a child theme of the active parent theme, which is really useful. Although we're going to get in maybe a little bit into when you should create, what different types of themes you should create, which is always a conversation to come up during using this plugin, I feel. You can create a new style variation, but there's more, and it feels like, and there's more with this plugin every single time, because when you go into the site editor, that's when this comes alive. And I often describe when I'm making a theme that there's 2 parts of it. There's laying the foundation, and there's using it, the site editor as Dreamweaver. And I do that a lot. And that's when the create block theme plugin really comes to life. You can export, you can save, and all of that amazing frenzy of work that you're creating in your sketchbook or the site editor, you can then save. You might then take it into an editor and separate it out and do all your work, but you make sure that you can take it down from the space that you're in. That's a lot of talking. So let's now get on to how we install and we activate it. So you would search for it, and I've already got it here. So you activate it. It's just like a plugin. I'm also going to activate the latest Gutenberg. I don't need to, but I always want to have it when I'm experimenting, just because I feel that it's just a good kind of foundation base for me. And you'll see there's this handy dandy little new link here that we have. And I see some awesome questions. I'm probably going to answer the questions at the end, because that's really, really great. But we'll collect them at the end. And I'm going to go through each of these, though. And you will see the answer to your question as I go through this. So we have this awesome screen, and it says export as a zip file, create a new blank theme, create a clone. And you might be wondering, why is it saying that it will do 2024? Well, the thing is, I have selected this theme. So what it is doing is recognizing that I've selected that theme. So if I activate 2023, you'll go back here and it will be, haha, it changes to 2023. Can I make the screen larger? Absolutely. Is that better for you? I'm hoping that's better for you. I'm hoping that that is better. Is that better from the size? It isn't full screen. Is that better for people from a visual perspective? I'm just double checking. That's better already. Awesome. We're cooking back. Thank you. So I'm going to go back to 2024. And we're doing it in the crate block. So first of all, what I'm going to do is this. What this does is it exports to be a zip file. And what you do is you just take this and then you would download it as a full file. So you do this, and it's, do you want to download the file? So you download the file. So maybe you've got this file that you're working on and it's not 2024, and you would download it and it downloads it for me. Create a new blank theme. So this is when you want to create your own theme. So we are doing a create block demo theme. This. And that is it. We now have a theme. it is as easy as that to create our own theme. So if we go back, and it activates it by default, so we go back and we look at themes, there you go. We have just made a theme. So we had those details. We've got my details here, but this theme is going to be a blank theme. So if we also look in the tools, so I'm going to just look at the theme file editor, and this is what I mean by it's kind of underscores, because it's your raw, like, basic theme. So if you look at this, it's got all your basic pieces together. If you look at templates, it's got all your basic template pieces as well. But it gives you a really good start to be able to, you can't read the writing at all. Is it really too small for everybody? Because I can zoom in if that's needing for people. Absolutely. You don't need to be reading my screens though. You're not actually, but is that a little bit better for people? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay, you can barely see the sidebar. I'm going to continue with this, and then we can kind of go in a little bit. Right, even better now. We're all good. So I'm going to continue on because I think we're all super happy. And then you have the footer parts as well. You have a header, and then you have a footer as well. Okay, that's better now. I love that. That's super good. So this is basically your underscores component, but this is your new theme here. But you can also create a clone of. So if we go back to themes, and we activate this theme again. So bear in mind, like, it could be any theme that you want. I love that I just got an emoji that's better now. Thank you so much. That made me feel awesome. You can say you're working on a demo site and you just want to. So what you do is you create a block theme and you create a clone. So again, it's going to ask you because you're creating a clone of there. And then you do the theme name, clone theme. This. And there we go. I have created it again. And look, it's 2024. So it's really as easy as that for creating these different versions. And if you go back, we see we've got clone theme. Spot the difference. You see clone theme, and then you see this. So I'm going to go back again. I'm going to activate this. Already in the comments, people have mentioned about child themes. This is exactly how you make a child theme. So it says create block theme in the interface. So this is child of theme. Bit of a weird way of calling it, but I'm going with that. This is it. And there, now we have a child theme. So if we go and look at the files here, you'll see that this will be a child theme. So we go and have a look, tools, files, and you can see all it's got is a style sheet and the theme JSON. That's all it's got because it's a child theme again. Okay, so going back to the plugin, what we've looked at is how we can use it and how we can interact with it. And so the next thing we really need is to decide what approach we have. We want to decide what different things we have. And I've kind of looked at all those different options. You can do a zip file, you can do a blank theme, how you can do different themes. And it really depends on what you are creating, and how fresh a start you want to go. If you based off something like 2024 or when the awesome theme 2025 comes out, you will be able to get the benefits of all the patterns, all the styling and templates. However, you also might have to unpick the existing styling. You might have to remove some of the pattern styling and templates as well. If you use a blank theme, you get a fresh start, you get to set things how you want, get that underscores, fresh kind of structure, but with no styling. But it's also quite minimal, and you maybe don't benefit from some of those patterns and styling that you would otherwise. So it's really up to you which choice, but you have that with this create block theme plugin. You have that ability to just spin those up as you want. So we've created each one of those now, but that's half the story. What I want to look at is when you have created the foundation, when you go into the site editor experience, remember the block editor is where we create content, and the site editor is where you make your site, or at least that's the way that I think of it. When you go in there, the Create Block Theme plugin does not leave you behind. There is a section, and in that section, we have these awesome things like the ability to save changes to the theme, to create the theme variations, to edit theme metadata. We're going to go through this. I know it's lots of words again. To view theme JSON, to export styles, export a zip, create a blank theme, to all of these things. Remember I was saying that as you're kind of working on your foundation, sometimes the old way of doing it would be you'd have to go in and copy things or save, or particularly patterns, you'd have to save them in. Well, we don't have to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my blank theme. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to take this blank theme, and I'm going to go into my editor. And this is going to be quite a boring theme. But I'm going to create a front page. I'm going to say that I want to create a front page for this theme. So I'm going to say that I want to create quite a custom front page. But what I want to initially do is I want to set some colors. So I want to kind of set, I want to set a text color. I want to set a, well, actually, I want to do this. I'm going to go for dark mode theme. I'm going to go for quite exciting link color. I'm going all out in color here. And then I want to set out some layout sizes. And this is when I say I'm using it like Dreamweaver. I'm just saving it, just adding things into here. What I want to do, before this, I actually fancy on this front to have a really big add before. Oh, I want to have really big cover image I got from my media library. Oh, I like this one. I'm going to have like a really big my image on the front. But I don't really like that font. So I'm going to manage some fonts as well. I'm going to install some fonts, allow access to Google. Quite like this font. Let's add this in. Go in. Text. Save again. I'm going to go back. But do you see where we had this? We had this little icon. And in this icon is all those settings that I was saying about. That we have to save the changes to the theme, create theme variation, edit theme metadata. So here is the ability to change or what your literally your theme metadata that require plugins, the font credits, the image credits, the screenshot. I think this is pretty awesome that you can even change a screenshot here. I don't know if anyone has made themes for quite a few number of years, but copy and pasting screenshot has been like one of the classic things that most people have had to do in the past, and you don't have to do that anymore. The ability to view styles here is really amazing as well. But what I really like is this. So you have the ability to save your fonts. So that custom font that I've been adding as I'm just in my frenzy doing creative stuff, to save the style changes, to save the template changes, and to process only modified templates as well. So any templates that I have not modified will be left as is. These features are being worked on, but I really like that as well. And we will get into a bit what's kind of coming as well. Localized text, I try and have that on, but it doesn't always work. So that's kind of interesting. I also try and have this on as well, and this on, mainly because I find it saves me a bit of work later on to have those on by default. And then I'm going to save them. So what that's done though, is if I go back, what that's done is it's actually, I'm going to go to my theme file. That has now created a template, but in my theme rather than creating it in the site. So I'm going to then again go through and create another template and show that difference between the site and the difference between saving it for myself. So if we go into the editor. So we're going to just maybe add a template just for a single post. So we're going to do one here. Maybe add after this. Add after. So awesome template, 10 out of 10 styling, and say this. But if we go back here, you'll see that this template, you'll see that I've added this template here. But if we now go in and we go to save the changes to the theme, it's now part of the theme, which I think is pretty neat. It's one of those small things, but then it means I can then make a decision how I split it apart, how I do it, but it's taken everything. And for me, that's a really powerful way of starting to build up themes as well. So we've seen some really awesome stuff to be able to do that. One of the other things that you can do is export and save. So as you're working on this, you're building up this theme, or let's go back to the template, you're building up this. This is really useful. You export, so you just have a way to click and then you download it. And for me, that's really helpful because you download it. You can also do something I do is quite often do symlinks. So I do a symlink between my local site and this so that I can make sure that I use a GitHub repo and I can just push. But exporting means that you get your theme and you can maybe then pull out the code, because as it's saving it, you might be wanting a particular way to pull things out. But it's just a really easy way to do it. Now there is this button and I'm going to press it just to show you what happens. So when you do this, it resets the theme styles and resets. So let's just do this. But if you bear in mind, I'd saved it all. So it's the local changes. So if we go back, what it'll do is, if we go in to do this, so if you've done save before, and that's a really important thing that I wanted to show you. Sometimes when you press this, people think it will reset the whole theme back. It will not do that if you've done this, if you save the changes to the theme. It will only do it if you are just doing changes. So if maybe you're doing something like this, as far as I know, and like that. So then it will do the resets for you. So that's a really interesting thing to remember. When you are saving to the theme, make sure that it is a conscious part of your workflow to do it. It's like saying, ha, this is the version that I'm having. So that's kind of you interesting way of thinking about it. So that's quite a bit of going through. I wanted to kind of leave some time for some Q&A at the end of this, because that's kind of like a lot that we've walked through. There is the repo and there is also the planning board as well to go through. But I'd like to open it for some questions now, and we can maybe talk through some things as well if anyone's got anything. I can't hear you.
I was muted. How that? So there was one question, and it would be great to hear what you want to say, what you have to say about this. So, do I need to keep, and that's a question from Lisa, do I need to keep the Create Block Theme plugin active in the client side after I've launched the site, or can it be deactivated and deleted?
100%, you do not have to have it active. If the way that I think about it is a tool for my workflow, not something that is required. However, I would suggest if you have a staging or production site to have it there, because you're potentially just creating. So wherever you are creating, have it active.
Excellent. I also would think that if you have your client fiddle with the theme and the templates, you want to go in and sometimes want to get this back.
Yeah, it depends. If you are
Yeah.
still creating templates and you're still adjusting and you're doing things, but if you're not doing that on your client site, then don't have the plugin activated.
And then the next question from Lisa, Nick answered in the chat, but is there any special code that is needed in functions PHP so the style CSS file can be used for styles that are not suitable for theme JSON? How would you approach that if there are styles that are not in theme JSON?
So there's a couple of different ways that you can still do it. It's one, style.css works still, as long as it's in queued. So it works 100% still normal. Theme JSON has not stopped that working. But I would say that there's a lot that can be done in theme JSON that you don't think can be done in theme JSON. So you actually can style buttons. You actually can style variations. You actually can do core blocks. You can do shadows. There's so much that you can do. I would really try and think about only using CSS for those real stress cases. So when something has to be precision, or when someone, maybe there's an arrow out of an image or something that someone has to have, and then I would probably suggest it was a block variation, or so that you have it as a style that you can just do. But it's really, really so many things that you can do. I'm just going to share my screen again because I think sometimes people forget this. I'm just going to share. Is this better? Is this more full width now because I'm not sliding between the slide deck as well? And I apologize about that, but I really wanted to slide between the slide deck. So one of the things that people often forget about is this styles. Apart from the fact that I still love this to the day, the style book, it's one of my favorite things in the world. Let me just reset this with 2024 a second because it's a bit bleak and dark, as much as I love dark mode, but I want to show you all the styles. As you go in, so style book, you'll be able to see all the different styles of things, but you actually have the ability to style blocks way more than you think you do. So you can list item, you can style, but one of the things you can do if you have a theme, you can then write that style to the theme. So say you had, so I'm, what I have is, and let's go back to where I had my clone of a theme. So I have this clone here. So I'm going to activate my clone. So this is, oops. This is my clone of 2024 that I'm using. And I am now in this. Let me just reset this to actual size because that was super weird being zoomed in. And now I'm going to go into a block. I'm going to do a quote block because it's quite a visible block. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background. I got a quote block on here. Background. Let me do. Okay, so I'm going to change the background. I'm going to change text color. I'm gonna I'm really gonna go to chat. This is gonna look kind of strange, but anyway, I'm gonna try it. Gonna do this. I'm gonna add gonna do this. Do this. But what I can do, I can save it. And then I can save the changes to the theme. So then the quote block will be like that always, but I don't need to have a custom block variation. I don't need to have a custom styles for it. I've just created that and then I've saved it, and I don't need to have it in CSS. So my point is, you can generally do things, and you don't even have to do them in theme JSON. You can generally do things a lot easier in here. You can also do custom CSS, and there is a way that you can write it. You can put it in, you have the ability to do custom CSS here as well, which is a lot easier to do than maybe putting it into those places. So you have different options rather than, but your kind of ultimate option is putting it into style.css. And you may find that you have to pull in different colors or different plugin support as well.
Excellent. Yes. Yeah. I find that the styles and the modification of the block layouts often is a little underused. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. So Elliot Richmond has a question. If you are developing a theme and you want to use the create block theme to save changes back to your theme files, I don't believe you can currently save patterns back to your theme. I know there is a PR for that, but is there any idea when or if that might get merged?
I'm going to lean on you a little bit for some more information, but this is something I would just say, plus so many that I want. The workaround, and it's not a really good workaround, is use templates. So if you use the templates, then your blocks get in, if that makes sense, but the patterns don't get in. So yeah, it's not a workaround. It's just a way of like getting your unpatterned templates in. You bring everything in, and then in your code you would make them into patterns. That's what I'm doing currently, so I'm very curious how quickly this will get in as well. It's something I want.
Well, another workaround is to use the export and import functionality that the pattern have already. So when you go into your site editor under patterns, and then there is a bulk action, so export all the patterns in JSON, and then you can import them into your next site. It's a crutch, certainly, but it's not that you don't get the patterns out and can reuse them. But it's definitely, it's in the works. It depends on the availability of engineers on how that's gonna be, but it is aimed for maybe getting into 6.7. So when there's a kind of watch how the plugin develops and the PRs, but so that's all I can say. There is the idea to make it for the next version, but there are also a few things that need to happen in core, and that's where it might not be ready for 6.7. So there was another question from Aditya. If I start a theme from scratch on the Great plugin theme, there is obviously a default style that can be created, but how to add more styles in my new theme that I'm creating? I do not see an option to create a new style anywhere.
Aha! I'm going to go back to my handy little thing that I now can't see the top of. Oh, don't you just love it when you can't see the top? So there's this thing called style variations, which you have the ability to create more. So you have styles here, and you have palettes here. So with 2024, it has a number. So I'm going to go back here and I'll show you how we have more of these. Oops, so bear with me. I'm going to go into code because it's often, I find, quite, when you start seeing this, it's very like sectional. So you always have theme JSON. So this is like your default style. It's the best way to describe it. And then if you go to styles, these are all the extra styles that you have. Depending on what their contents is, they may just show up as a palette, or they may show up as more than that as well. But you have those there. So this is how you do the different ones. And actually, this is a really good point. Some of these, it eliminates the need for child themes by having these. So this is exactly how you create extra ones. You just put a new theme JSON style in here.
And there were actually some great articles on the developer blog on how to
Yeah.
use the styles now.
You
So
can kind of create them within the editor, but in future versions, she says streaming, I would love a lot easier workflows for that within the Create Block Theme plugin. And I feel that that could happen. Yeah, a style variation instead of child theme. For me, it's very rare that I have to consider child themes unless you're talking like a major network. Generally, it's a foundation theme more or less pulled together with configuration, pulling from a pattern bank. If you think of your theme as a design system or a theme system now, and you that is probably the better way. If you are doing a bigger scaled theme or system, think of it as compiling, so you might not include all the patterns in every one. That's also something to think about, maybe having a companion plugin for the patterns. So just thinking about the scale is something to kind of go there as well, because it can get very unwieldy if you're dealing with one theme to kind of rule them all for like a mass magazine network, and you have all your patterns that you need for that. That could get a bit bulky.
So yeah, the next question is from Bebisito. I have a custom HTML and I want to implement it in Gutenberg and make it dynamic. Is this possible?
I think Nick has answered that.
Yeah, you will need to convert your custom HTML to blocks, and you want to use block themes in the blocks editor. There's also a way to the block bindings might be even great to explore, because then you can connect some blocks with meta custom fields. And there were definitely some developer hours in the repo or in the repo YouTube playlist that cover that part. So Webisito, that should get you definitely started. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, Elliot, glad that export patterns is helpful to you. It's actually one of the early features. Yeah,
I guess
Lisa, you're right.
yeah, I'm curious who has used underscores and not used Create Block Theme plugin, because I would encourage you, if you've used underscores but not used the plugin, to start trying to use this plugin to really see it as a way of starting to get into. So that's actually interesting. Can we connect the theme file editor to VS Code? So I actually edit, so I'm doing it for ease here, but I actually edit it in VS Code. I do a bit of Dreamweaver, so maybe this is a good kind of, this is like additional quest, but sharing of workflows. So I definitely use the foundation, and then I create in the site editor, but then I will take it into VS Code and I will organize it a certain way. I think all coders are going to like it to be organized a certain way, or developers, and you have a certain structure you want for your theme. So 100% you then take it in. I would suggest doing a symlink between your repo and your local site to just check on it, make sure that everything's in place as you're kind of going there as well. But then you can also use the Create Block Theme plugin and save it to it and kind of have that nice workflow, and then you keep a fresh copy all the time. And that's a really good way. It used to be that you'd have like this out of sync version on your local site and it would be really weird. But now, because you can save it directly to that site, it's really great. Don't have
Yeah,
to copy all your files all the time and do it. Was just oh, it's just a drama in the past, which I think made people not want to be able to do create block plugins, because it felt additional problems. Yeah. And yes, someone just said you can use Playground. You absolutely can use Playground as well.
so and I just shared that. Thank you,
Yeah.
Elliot, for picking that up. I just shared the link to a hallway hangout where Beatrice Fiallo showed her workflow on using Playground, Create Block Theme plugin, and the site editor to push pull requests into a theme repo on GitHub. So it's definitely a great way to do some no code, low code kind of approach to theme development without doing so much PHP. Yes, so thank you so much for your demonstration, Tammie. This was great. I learned so much about, especially about the approach on how to create a theme and what you can do in the site editor and how you approach it. Thank you. I'm asking for more questions if you have them. If so,
and I would encourage everyone, as 2025 starts being worked on in a few weeks, use a Create block theme plugin. I'd say that 4 times as well. Use that on the 2025 and just start exploring it. It's really, really fun that way to start learning as well. And a lot of people use 2024 as a foundation of their theme in their own studios as well. So you'll have 2025 that you can do that with as well.
Excellent call out. Thank you so much, Tammie. There don't seem to be any more questions. Oh, there was a question from Jackie. Is there going to be a link to the recorded meeting? Yes, of course. As always, the developer hours, there is a playlist on YouTube. If you haven't checked that out yet, that I want to share with you, if I can find it. That where all the recordings all of missed developer hours that we mentioned. So you have can go back and listen to it and share, use the document, that shared resources document. So I'll have that again here for this show. And thank you all so much for being here. And Tammie, yeah, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time and preparing that demo. Wish you all a good time and share. See us also in the outreach channel. I don't know if you know, there's an outreach channel on WordPress Make blog. If you have any questions about theme development and others, take care of that.
Real quick for people who are, before you all leave, the next developer hour session will be on September 10th. And we're going to be covering a brand new API, be a bit more developer heavy than this one, perhaps, more plugin developer heavy. It's about a new template registration API that's coming in WordPress 6.7 in November. So September 7th, sorry, not 10th, sorry, September 10th, check Meetup.
It's September 11th.
Been posted. Yeah, exactly. And
September 11th.
September 10th.
No, September 11th. Well, Meetup, it's on the Meetup for September 11th. So I'm not quite sure. Yeah. It's on Wednesday. It's on a Wednesday.
It shouldn't be.
Is it wrong? Okay, September 10th. We'll change
September 10th.
it.
Yeah, it should be on Tuesday, same time, September 10th. Sorry for any confusion there. If there's anything wrong with Meetup, we'll get that fixed. But yeah, all about a template registration API, which is coming in 6.7. So we hope to see you there.
Now I see what it is. It's 4 a.m. my time. So I think we also need to fix the date, the time on that next developer hours. Okay. All right. Thank you all. We stop recording, and then I wish you all a good week, and see you at the next time.